The deafening roar of 50,000 voices reverberates through the ancient travertine walls, a thunderous cascade of human emotion that shakes the very foundations of the mighty Flavian amphitheater. The golden sand of the arena, now stained crimson with the day's earlier contests, creaks beneath leather sandals worn by men who may not see another sunrise. Through the thick haze of heat rising from the blood-soaked ground, a gladiator stands, his breath coming in ragged gasps, his broken shield hanging uselessly at his side. The afternoon sun beats mercilessly upon his shoulders, gleaming off the bronze of his helmet and the sweat on his skin. Before him, his opponent circles like a predatory cat, a murmillo whose fish-crested helmet catches the light with each calculated step. The crowd's chanting grows to a fever pitch, their collective voice a primal force that seems to pulse with the very heartbeat of Rome itself. The air is thick with a metallic tang of blood, the acrid smoke from countless torches, and the heavy perfumes worn by the nobility in their shaded seats. High above the arena floor, Emperor Domitian rises from his gilded seat in the imperial box, his purple robes rippling in the warm breeze that carries the sense of death and glory. The crowd falls silent, thousands of eyes fixed upon their living god. The fallen gladiator's fate hangs by a thread, to be decided by a simple gesture, the turning of an imperial thumb. In this moment, as in countless others before it, life and death dance together in an ancient ritual that has captured the imagination of Romans and their subjects across the vast empire. This is the Colosseum, the greatest amphitheater ever built by human hands, where every day the spectacle of life and death plays out for the entertainment of the masses. Here, in this massive arena that can hold enough spectators to fill a modern football stadium, the Roman Empire displays both its magnificent achievement and its brutal nature. The very stones seem to whisper tales of the countless souls who have fought, bled, and died upon its sands: gladiators, condemned criminals, exotic beasts from the far reaches of the empire, and even early Christian martyrs. As we step back in time to the late 1st century AD, we enter a world where entertainment and politics merged in a dance as intricate as any gladiatorial combat. The Colosseum stands not just as an architectural marvel, but as a symbol of Roman power, engineering brilliance, and the complex social fabric that bound together the greatest empire the world had yet seen. Within these walls, emperors curry favor with the common people through spectacular games, ambitious politicians build their reputations, and men from all corners of the empire fight for glory, freedom, or simple survival. Let us peel back the layers of time and discover the true story of this magnificent structure. Not just as an arena of death, but as a place where Roman society revealed itself in all its complexity, brutality, and grandeur. From the ingenious engineering that allowed it to host naval battles, to the intricate social hierarchies reflected in its seating arrangements, to the lives of the gladiators who became the ancient world's first sports celebrities, the Colosseum holds secrets that continue to captivate us 2 millennia after its construction. Before we delve deeper into the bloody sands of the arena, we must understand what prompted Emperor Vespasian to commission this architectural wonder in 72 AD, and how this massive structure came to symbolize both the zenith of Roman power and the complex relationship between spectacle, politics, and social control in the ancient world. In the year 72 AD, Rome was emerging from one of its darkest chapters. The infamous Emperor Nero had fallen, and after a brutal civil war known as the Year of the Four Emperors, a new dynasty rose to power. Vespasian, the founder of the Flavian dynasty, faced a monumental task. He needed to legitimize his rule and restore public faith in the empire. His solution would become one of the most iconic structures in human history, where Nero had built his extravagant golden house, complete with a massive artificial lake for his personal pleasure. Vespasian saw an opportunity. He drained the lake and began construction of the Flavian amphitheater, what we now know as the Colosseum. This was a masterful political move. Where Nero had built for himself, Vespasian would build for the people. The message was clear. The age of imperial excess was over, replaced by an era of public works and entertainment for all of Rome. The timing of this massive construction project was no coincidence. Rome had just crushed the Great Jewish Revolt, bringing back to the capital immense wealth and thousands of Jewish slaves. The spoils of Jerusalem's temple helped finance the construction, while the captives provided much of the labor force. The very structure itself was built with the blood and sweat of conquered peoples, a physical embodiment of Rome's military might. At this time, Rome's empire stretched across 3 continents, from the misty hills of Britain to the scorching deserts of Egypt, from the Atlantic coast of Spain to the fertile valleys of the Euphrates River. This vast territory brought unprecedented wealth and resources to Rome. Exotic animals from Africa, gladiators from Germania, marble from Greece, and engineers from across the empire all contributed to the Colosseum's creation and the spectacles it would host. The Colosseum's construction represented more than just architectural achievement. It was a sophisticated tool of social and political control, embodying the Roman concept of bread and circuses, panem et circenses. While the grain dole fed the masses, the Colosseum would entertain them, channeling their energies and frustrations into controlled spectacle rather than civil unrest. The seating arrangements themselves reflected Roman society's strict hierarchy. Senators closest to the action, followed by nobles, then ordinary citizens, and finally the common people and women in the highest tiers. This was also an era of unprecedented urban development in Rome. The city's population had swollen to nearly 1 million inhabitants, a number that wouldn't be matched again until London in the 19th century. The Colosseum became the beating heart of this metropolis, situated at the intersection of major thoroughfares where people from all social classes would mingle. Its location was carefully chosen. Built in the valley between the Celian, Esquiline, and Palatine hills, it was visible from much of the city, a constant reminder of imperial power and generosity. The construction techniques employed were revolutionary for their time. Roman engineers had perfected the use of concrete, arches, and vaulting to create a structure of unprecedented size and complexity. The Colosseum would become a template for public entertainment venues that continues to influence stadium design to this day. Its elliptical shape, carefully calculated seating arrangements, and innovative crowd management systems set standards that modern architects still study and admire. But perhaps most remarkably, the Colosseum represented a new kind of psychological warfare in the toolkit of imperial power. By hosting games that recreated famous battles, the arena could show Romans their empire's might in action. Exotic animals from distant provinces demonstrated Rome's reach across the known world. Even the executions of criminals were staged as elaborate mythological tableaus, turning death into entertainment while reinforcing Roman values and law. If you're ready to journey deeper into the fascinating world of ancient Rome, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Legacy of Empires to ensure you won't miss any of our historical adventures. As we delve further into the Colosseum story, we'll discover how this magnificent structure, built from the spoils of empire and the labor of the conquered, would become not just the largest amphitheater in the Roman world, but a symbol of Roman civilization itself, one that would outlast the empire it was built to glorify. Let us transport ourselves back to the bustling construction site of the Flavian Amphitheater in the late 1st century AD. The air is thick with limestone dust, and the rhythmic sound of hammers and chisels echoes across the valley. Thousands of workers, skilled artisans, freedmen, and slaves swarm across the massive construction site like ants building a mountain. The scale of the project is unprecedented in Roman history. The foundation alone is a testament to Roman engineering prowess. Workers have dug 12 meters deep into the ground to create a solid foundation of concrete, an innovative material the Romans had perfected by mixing volcanic ash with lime and rubble. This foundation needed to be exceptionally strong, as it would support a structure weighing more than 500,000 tons. The ground, once home to Nero's artificial lake, had to be carefully prepared and reinforced to prevent any future settling or shifting. Imagine the logistics of this massive undertaking. Hundreds of ox-drawn carts arrive daily, bringing enormous blocks of travertine limestone from the quarries of Tivoli, some 20 miles away. Each block weighs several tons, and they must be precisely cut and fitted. The Romans have developed an ingenious system of lifting these massive stones. The Lewis iron, a sophisticated lifting device that fits into specially carved holes in the blocks, allowing them to be hoisted by wooden cranes powered by massive tread wheels, operated by teams of workers walking inside them like giant hamster wheels. The true genius of the Colosseum's design lies in its revolutionary architectural system. The Romans have perfected the arch and vault principle, creating a complex skeleton of arches that distribute the building's enormous weight perfectly. Each of the 3 main floors features 80 arches, creating not just a sturdy structure but also allowing for efficient crowd movement, a crucial consideration for a building designed to accommodate up to 50,000 spectators. The 4th floor, a later addition, would house the mechanical systems for the massive awning that would shield spectators from the sun. The numbers are staggering. The completed structure will rise 48 meters into the Roman sky, with a length of 189 meters and a width of 156 meters. The outer wall alone requires over 100,000 cubic meters of travertine limestone, all held together without mortar. Instead, the stones are connected by iron clamps, many of which were later pillaged during medieval times, leaving the distinctive holes we see in the structure today. Below the arena floor, engineers are creating an intricate network of underground passages and chambers, the hypogeum. This subterranean marvel will feature a complex system of wooden elevators and ramps, powered by teams of slaves, capable of lifting cages containing wild animals, scenery, and gladiators directly into the arena. Some elevators can rapidly lift loads weighing several hundred kilos up to 15 meters high. Picture dozens of these mechanisms operating simultaneously during the games, creating spectacular effects as fighters and beasts seem to emerge magically from the arena floor. The construction process is highly organized, with different teams of specialists working simultaneously. Stone masons shape the travertine blocks with precise measurements, following detailed architectural plans drawn on papyrus and wooden tablets. Carpenters construct elaborate scaffolding and the wooden framework for concrete vaults. Engineers constantly check the alignment and stability of the rising walls using plumb bobs, measuring rods, and water levels. The decorative elements are equally impressive. Sculptors carve elaborate Corinthian capitals for the half-columns that adorn the exterior walls, while artisans prepare the marble veneers that will cover interior spaces. The seating areas are carefully calculated to provide optimal viewing angles, with the seats carved from travertine and marble, depending on the social class of their intended occupants. Perhaps most remarkable is the building's sophisticated crowd management design. The Romans created a system of numbered entrances and coordinated staircases that allowed the massive structure to be filled or emptied in a matter of minutes. The same numbered system helped spectators find their designated seats efficiently, a system so effective that modern stadiums still use similar principles today. The water management system is another feat of engineering. Elaborate drain pipes and channels are built into the structure to handle rainwater and prevent flooding. The slight tilt of the arena floor and a complex system of underground drains ensure that blood and other fluids from the games can be quickly washed away and the arena prepared for the next spectacle. As we stand here watching this magnificent structure rise from the ground, we're witnessing more than just a construction project. We're seeing the birth of an architectural icon that will influence public entertainment venues for the next 2,000 years. The Romans are creating not just an amphitheater, but a template for how large crowds can be efficiently managed, entertained, and controlled. A blueprint that continues to influence stadium design to this day. In the shadow of Rome's mighty Colosseum, a different kind of warrior was forged. Picture Spartacus, a Thracian warrior turned gladiator, his muscled frame honed not in the freedom of his homeland's rolling hills, but within the confines of the ludus gladiatorius, the gladiatorial school. His bronze skin, marked with a web of battle scars, tells a story of survival against impossible odds. Like thousands before him, he wasn't born to be a gladiator. Fate and Roman conquest transformed him from a proud tribal warrior into a commodity for public entertainment. The life of a gladiator was a peculiar mix of privilege and degradation. While technically slaves, gladiators were expensive investments, worth far more than common laborers. Their training regimens were sophisticated and scientifically approached, combining rigorous physical conditioning with specialized combat techniques. They ate better than most Roman citizens, following carefully planned diets rich in protein and carbohydrates. Their meals often included barley, beans, and dry fruits, earning them the nickname Retiarius, barley men. Within the ludus, life followed a strict routine. Dawn began with basic conditioning exercises, running, weightlifting with heavy wooden posts, and practice with wooden weapons twice the weight of their combat counterparts. Afternoon sessions focused on technique and choreographed combat sequences called numbered fights. Each movement was practiced thousands of times until it became instinct. Injuries were common, but the ludus maintained its own medical staff, skilled physicians who developed revolutionary techniques in trauma treatment and sports medicine. The gladiatorial arts were far more complex than simple sword fighting. Each class of gladiator was a carefully crafted theatrical archetype, designed to create dramatic matches that captured the public's imagination. Let's explore these fascinating fighting styles in detail. The Secutor, or pursuer, was engineered specifically to counter the Retiarius. Their distinctive smooth helmet, shaped like a fish head, offered no protrusions for their opponent's net to snag. They carried a large rectangular shield and a short sword, but their helmet restricted breathing and vision, a deliberate handicap to make fights more entertaining. Their strategy focused on closing distance quickly, making their contests with Retiarii a thrilling game of cat and mouse. The Retiarius represented one of the most distinctive fighting styles in the arena. Armed with a weighted net, a trident, and a dagger, they wore minimal armor, relying on agility and cunning. Their fighting style was a deadly dance, attempting to ensnare their opponents before striking with the trident. They symbolized fishermen catching their prey, adding a theatrical element that Roman crowds adored. However, their lack of armor meant any mistake could be fatal. Myrmilones were the heavy infantry of the arena. Named for the fish-shaped crest on their helmets, they carried a large rectangular shield, a sword, and wore substantial armor including an arm guard and leg greaves. Their fighting style emphasized power and endurance, wearing down opponents through relentless pressure. Their matches against lighter, more agile opponents created classic contests of speed versus power. The Thraces fought in the style of Thracian warriors, carrying their distinctive curved Sicca sword and a small rectangular shield called a parmula. Their light armor and aggressive fighting style made them crowd favorites. They were trained to exploit their mobility, ducking under opponents' guards to deliver devastating upward strikes with their curved blades. The rare and spectacular Dimacharius wielded 2 swords, forgoing a shield entirely. These fighters required exceptional skill and courage, as their aggressive style left little room for defense. They were often matched against heavily armed opponents, creating dramatic David versus Goliath spectacles. Beyond these main types, there were numerous specialized classes. The Esidarii who fought from chariots, the Andibati who fought blindfolded, and the Provocators who were equipped similarly to Roman legionaries. Each specialty required years of dedicated training and carried its own traditions and tactics. The psychological aspect of gladiatorial combat was equally complex. These men lived in a unique social position, simultaneously celebrated and despised, admired and expendable. Many embraced a philosophical approach to their profession, following a strict code of conduct that emphasized facing death with dignity. Their oath, Uri, Vincii Rai, Verberari, Feroce Necari, to be burned, bound, beaten, and killed by the sword, reflected their acceptance of their fate. The most successful gladiators became celebrities of their day. Their images appeared on pottery, walls, and even children's toys. Women of noble birth were known to become infatuated with popular gladiators, though such relationships were strictly forbidden. Some gladiators earned enough from their victories to eventually purchase their freedom, though many chose to continue fighting for the glory and wealth that success in the arena could bring. Yet for all their fame and specialized training, most gladiators died young. Inscriptions tell us that the average gladiator fought 3 to 4 times per year and had a life expectancy of about 27 years. However, contrary to popular belief, death wasn't as common in the arena as often depicted. Good gladiators were expensive to train and maintain, and outright killing was discouraged unless the crowd and emperor specifically called for it. Their legacy lives on not just in our fascination with their stories, but in the very language we use today. Terms like sine mission, without mercy, and pollice verso, turn thumb, have survived 2 millennia, testament to the lasting impact these ancient warriors had on human culture and imagination. Dawn breaks over the eternal city, and already the streets leading to the Colosseum are alive with excitement. The games are about to begin. Imagine yourself among the crowd on this typical day in 80 AD, as thousands stream through the numbered archways, their wooden or ivory tickets in hand, each marked with precise seating coordinates, section, row, and seat number. The Roman passion for organization, evident even in their entertainment. The morning air fills with a cacophony of sounds. Street vendors hawking cushions for the stone seats and snacks for the long day ahead, betting agents taking last-minute wagers, and the distant roars of exotic beasts awaiting their turn in the arena. The scent of saffron-infused water sprayed from the complex sprinkler system mingles with incense burned to mask less pleasant odors from the massive crowd. As the rising sun bathes the white travertine walls in golden light, trumpets announce the beginning of the Pompa Circenses, the opening ceremony. This spectacular parade is carefully choreographed to demonstrate the full might and majesty of Rome. First come the musicians, their horns and drums creating a thunderous rhythm that echoes through the massive amphitheater. Behind them, ceremonial guards in polished armor, their red cloaks catching the morning light. Then comes the moment the crowd has been waiting for. The gladiators emerge. They march in perfect formation, their armor gleaming, weapons held high. Each fighting style is represented: the heavily armored Myrmilones, the nimble Thraces, the exotic Retiarii with their nets and tridents. Their bodies are oiled, muscles rippling under the sun, each man a perfectly trained specimen of martial prowess. Before the imperial box, they stop as one. 50,000 spectators fall silent as the gladiators raise their weapons in salute. Their voices ring out in unison: Ave Imperator, morituri te salutant. The famous phrase echoes across the arena. Hail, Emperor! Those who are about to die salute you. It's a dramatic reminder of the deadly serious nature of the entertainment to come. The Emperor, seated in his gilded box draped with imperial purple, rises to acknowledge the salute. Around him sit the Vestal Virgins, senators in togas with broad purple stripes, and other dignitaries. The seating arrangement itself is a visible representation of Roman society. The closer to the arena floor, the higher one's social status. The wealthy occupy the prime seats just above the emperor's box, while the common citizens sit higher up, and at the very top, standing room only for the poorest Romans and women. The games begin with the Prolucio preliminary matches where gladiators demonstrate their skills with wooden weapons. This serves both as entertainment and as a chance for spectators to assess the fighters before placing their bets. The betting is frenzied, with vast sums changing hands. Fortunes will be made and lost today. As the morning progresses, the crowd's excitement builds. Professional hunters, the bestiarii, face exotic animals from the farthest reaches of the empire. Lions from Africa, bears from Germania, tigers from Parthia, each beast a living testament to Rome's vast reach. The sand of the arena, specially imported from Monte Cassino for its pure golden color and excellent absorption properties, begins to darken with blood. The complexity of the spectacle is mind-boggling. Beneath the arena floor, hundreds of slaves operate a sophisticated system of lifts, pulleys, and trapdoors. Wild animals can appear to spring from the earth itself. Elaborate scenery can be raised or lowered, transforming the arena into a forest, desert, or mythological landscape. Between major events, teams of arena servants, the arena slaves, rush out to rake the sand smooth and sprinkle fresh layers where needed. Others check the protective nets before the arena wall, ensuring no beast can reach the spectators. The mechanisms of death are well-oiled and efficient. The gladiatorial combats are carefully matched to maintain suspense. A skilled lanista, gladiator trainer and manager, has paired fighters whose styles will create the most dramatic spectacle. Speed versus power, experience versus youth, famous champions against ambitious newcomers. Each match tells a story, and the crowd knows all the characters. The editor of the games, often the emperor himself, orchestrates the day's entertainment like a theater producer. The rhythm of the spectacle is carefully managed, building tension throughout the day. Lesser matches early, building to the most anticipated fights in the afternoon when the crowd is at its largest and most enthusiastic. When a gladiator falls, the crowd's excitement reaches fever pitch. The defeated fighter, if still alive, raises his left index finger, begging for mercy. The editor looks to the crowd. They wave cloths or give the famous thumb signal to indicate their wish. While popular culture shows the thumb down as the death signal, historical evidence suggests an upward thumb or brandished fist might have been the fatal gesture, while a downward thumb meant mercy. As the sun begins to set, the day's entertainment draws to a close. The surviving gladiators parade once more, victors honored with palm branches and monetary prizes. The crowd disperses through the efficiently designed exits, already discussing the day's highlights and anticipating tomorrow's games. For this is Rome at its height, where spectacle and death dance together in an elaborate ritual that would fascinate humanity for millennia to come. Take a moment to pause and reflect. Which aspect of these ancient spectacles has surprised you the most so far? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you're enjoying this journey through time, don't forget to leave a like to support the channel. While gladiatorial combat may have been the Colosseum's main attraction, the ancient amphitheater hosted a remarkable variety of spectacles that would astound even modern audiences. Let us explore the fascinating world of Roman entertainment beyond the traditional gladiator fights. Perhaps the most spectacular events after gladiatorial combat were the Venetians. Elaborate staged hunts featuring exotic animals from across the empire. Imagine the crowd's amazement as they witnessed beasts they'd only heard about in travelers' tales. Striped tigers from India, mighty elephants from Africa, fierce bears from the Germanic forests, and even the occasional crocodile from the Nile. These weren't simple displays of animal combat. The Venetians were carefully choreographed productions featuring professional hunters called bestiarii. These skilled performers wore elaborate costumes and used specialized weapons and techniques for each type of beast. The arena would be transformed with sophisticated stage machinery, creating artificial forests, rocky landscapes, and desert scenes to simulate the animals' natural habitats. The logistics of these shows were staggering. Records indicate that for Emperor Trajan's games in 107 AD, over 11,000 animals were killed in a single event lasting 123 days. The empire maintained a vast network of animal trappers, transporters, and handlers. Special ships were designed to carry dangerous cargo like lions and tigers, while elaborate holding pens beneath the Colosseum kept the beasts ready for their appearances. Among the most impressive spectacles were the Naumachii, full-scale naval battles staged in a flooded arena. While most large-scale naval recreations took place in specially built facilities outside the city, the Colosseum could be flooded for smaller maritime displays. Through an ingenious system of underground waterworks and drainage, the arena floor could be quickly filled with water deep enough for small ships to maneuver. Imagine the scene. Specialized crews would remove the wooden arena floor, reveal the watertight basin beneath, and flood the space with water brought in through a complex system of aqueducts. Ships manned by condemned criminals or prisoners of war would engage in deadly combat, recreating famous naval battles from Roman history or staging entirely new spectacles. These naval shows required immense resources and engineering prowess. The water management system had to be capable of both rapidly filling and draining the arena, while the building's foundations needed to withstand the immense pressure of thousands of gallons of water. While these spectacles were rare due to their complexity and cost, they represented the peak of Roman entertainment engineering. Public executions in the Colosseum were transformed into elaborate mythological pageants called damnatio ad bestias. Condemned criminals were forced to act out scenes from mythology, with their deaths incorporated into the narrative. For example, a condemned man might be dressed as Orpheus, expected to charm a bear with music. Except in this version, the bear was very real and decidedly uncharmable. These executions were carefully staged with costumes, props, and complex machinery. Trapdoors would spring open to release animals, while elaborate sets created the appropriate mythological settings. The Romans viewed these displays not just as punishment but as public demonstrations of justice and imperial power. The Colosseum regularly hosted elaborate reenactments of famous battles and historical events. These productions involved hundreds of participants, detailed costumes, and complex stagecraft. Imagine watching the defeat of Hannibal or Alexander's conquest of Persia played out before your eyes, complete with period-accurate weapons and armor. These reenactments served multiple purposes: entertainment, education, and propaganda. They reminded Romans of their military victories and reinforced the empire's perceived invincibility. The attention to historical detail was remarkable, with producers consulting historical records to ensure accuracy in everything from military formations to battle tactics. During certain periods, particularly in its later history, the Colosseum hosted theatrical performances and musical shows. These weren't simple stage plays but spectacular productions involving hundreds of performers, elaborate machinery, and special effects that would impress even today. The acoustic design of the Colosseum made it surprisingly suitable for musical performances. The arrangement of the seating and the carefully calculated shape of the building created excellent sound projection, allowing even those in the highest seats to hear clearly. All these varied spectacles were made possible by the Colosseum's revolutionary technical features. The hypogeum, the underground complex beneath the arena, contained a sophisticated system of elevators, ramps, and pulleys operated by teams of skilled workers. This allowed for rapid scene changes and dramatic appearances of animals, performers, or props through trapdoors in the arena floor. A massive retractable awning system protected spectators from sun and rain. This canvas covering was operated by sailors from the Roman Navy, specially trained to handle the complex system of ropes and pulleys. The building's drainage system could handle not just rain but the thousands of gallons of water used in naval displays and for cleaning between events. These diverse shows established a template for public entertainment that continues to influence us today. From modern stadium designs to theatrical special effects, from circus performances to staged historical reenactments, the influence of Roman spectacle lives on. The Colosseum wasn't just an arena for gladiatorial combat, it was the world's first multimedia entertainment venue, capable of hosting an astounding variety of shows that would rival any modern production. The sophisticated organization required to stage these events, from animal handling to special effects, from crowd management to set design, demonstrated Roman ingenuity at its finest. As we'll see next, this remarkable venue would leave a lasting legacy that extends far beyond its original purpose as a place of entertainment. The Colosseum stands as a haunting monument to both the grandeur and brutality of the Roman Empire. During its nearly 5 centuries of active use, this magnificent amphitheater witnessed an almost unimaginable toll of death and violence that would shape the empire's legacy forever. Over its blood-soaked history, the Colosseum's sand-covered arena absorbed the lives of more than 500,000 people. These deaths came in many forms: gladiators fighting to the death, condemned criminals facing execution, and unfortunate souls forced to participate in elaborate staged hunts and battles. The morning might begin with simple criminal executions, progress to beast hunts at midday, and culminate in the main event of gladiatorial combat in the afternoon. The scale of animal slaughter was even more staggering, with historical records suggesting approximately 1 million creatures met their end within these walls. Exotic beasts from the furthest reaches of the empire, lions from North Africa, tigers from Asia, bears from Germania, and countless other species, were transported to Rome for these spectacular displays of imperial might. Sometimes, hundreds of animals would be killed in a single day of games, demonstrating both Rome's vast power and its capacity for systematic destruction. The stories that emerged from the Colosseum range from tales of incredible bravery to accounts of unspeakable cruelty. Some gladiators became legendary heroes, celebrated throughout the empire for their skill and courage. Others were simply anonymous victims, their deaths serving as mere entertainment for the crowds. Christians and other condemned prisoners were sometimes forced to face savage beasts unarmed, their deaths transformed into public spectacle. Today, although partially ruined by time, earthquakes, and stone robbers, the Colosseum remains one of humanity's most powerful reminders of how civilization can encompass both magnificent achievement and terrible brutality. Its massive stone walls continue to tell stories that both fascinate and horrify modern visitors. Each weathered block and crumbling arch bears silent witness to countless moments of triumph and tragedy, preserving memories of an empire that celebrated death as public entertainment. The structure serves as a complex monument to human achievement and human cruelty, reminding us of both the impressive architectural and engineering capabilities of ancient Rome and the darker aspects of their society. Modern visitors walking through its arches often report feeling a profound sense of connection to history, even as they grapple with the disturbing reality of its bloody past. This enduring symbol of Roman power continues to draw millions of visitors each year, all seeking to understand and connect with this crucial chapter of human history. The Colosseum's legacy is a complicated one, serving as both a testament to human achievement and a warning about the capacity for institutionalized violence, making it one of the most important historical sites in the world for understanding our own civilization's complex relationship with power, entertainment, and violence. Perhaps most importantly, the Colosseum stands as a reminder that even the most advanced civilizations can normalize extreme violence when it becomes embedded in culture and entertainment. This lesson remains deeply relevant today, as modern societies continue to grapple with questions about violence, entertainment, and human rights. As we stand before the Colosseum today, its weathered stones tell a story that spans 2 millennia. This magnificent amphitheater, which has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, continues to captivate our imagination and serves as a powerful reminder of both human achievement and our complex relationship with power, entertainment, and spectacle. The Colosseum represents far more than just an architectural marvel. It stands as a testament to Roman engineering brilliance, political sophistication, and social complexity. Its construction alone tells us of an empire at its height, capable of mobilizing vast resources, coordinating thousands of workers, and developing revolutionary building techniques that would not be surpassed for over 1,000 years. But beyond its architectural significance, the Colosseum embodies crucial lessons about the nature of power and entertainment. The Roman emperors understood something fundamental about human nature, that spectacle could be used as a tool of governance, that entertainment could serve as a pressure valve for social tensions, and that shared experiences of wonder and horror could bind a diverse population together. The games that took place within these walls reflected the full spectrum of human nature. They showcased humanity's highest achievements: courage, skill, discipline, and honor, alongside our capacity for cruelty and our fascination with violence. The gladiators themselves embodied this duality. Slaves who became celebrities, condemned men who achieved immortality through their deeds in the arena. Today, as we look at our modern entertainment complexes and mass spectacles, we can see the Colosseum's enduring influence. From our sports stadiums to our entertainment industries, we continue to gather in large numbers to experience moments of collective emotion and shared spectacle. The technological tools may have changed, but the fundamental human desires remain remarkably similar. The Colosseum also serves as a reminder of the impermanence of power. The empire that built this mighty structure eventually fell, its games ceased, and the arena that once hosted elaborate spectacles became a quarry, a fortress, and finally a tourist attraction. Yet even in ruins, it remains one of the most recognized symbols of human civilization, drawing millions of visitors who come to stand where gladiators once fought and emperors once ruled. Perhaps most importantly, the Colosseum challenges us to examine our own society's relationships with entertainment, power, and spectacle. As we fill our modern arenas and consume our own forms of mass entertainment, we might ask ourselves how different we really are from those Roman citizens who gathered here 2,000 years ago. In the end, the Colosseum stands as both a warning and an inspiration, a reminder of humanity's capacity for both greatness and brutality, for engineering brilliance and moral blindness, for creating works of lasting beauty even in the service of violence and power. Its weathered stones continue to speak to us across the centuries, telling stories not just of ancient Rome, but of human nature itself. As the sun sets over Rome today, casting long shadows through the Colosseum's arches, We're reminded that while empires may rise and fall, the monuments they leave behind continue to teach us about ourselves. In studying the Colosseum, we study not just ancient history, but the enduring questions about power, entertainment, and the complex nature of human civilization that continue to resonate in our own time. The sand of the arena may be silent now, but the echoes of the game still resound through history, challenging each generation to examine its own relationship with power, spectacle, and the eternal human drive to create lasting monuments to our achievements, our beliefs, and our deepest desires.